So what are some of the legal implications that you can actually run into if you don't do paper flipping correctly? So let's start with talking about what paper flipping actually is. So paper flipping is actually where you're having a contract with a seller and you're signing the rights of that contract with the seller over to an end buyer. Usually it's an investor. You can think of paper flipping as property wholesaling because they're essentially the same thing. Well, the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you check with your local laws because a lot of different states actually have different laws surrounding paper flipping or property wholesaling. So one of those is you may live in an actual state where you actually are required to have a realtor's license. So I don't know if you knew that or not, but a lot of different states actually require you to have a realtor's license. So you want to make sure that you actually have that, and you want to make sure that you differentiate between whether or not you're actually a realtor and actually whether or not you are a paper flipper or a wholesaler. Some states also actually have where you can't even wholesale at all. If you did some paper flipping without actually being in compliance, then your actual deal that you actually have under contract right now will actually have to be voided, because if it's again against the law in your area, you still can't close on it. So it's not going to do you any good to go to a title company to even present it, especially if it's not applicable in your area. So you want to be mindful of that. Then there's ethical concerns. So some states even require that you actually have to have a full disclosure notice and before you actually start paper flipping. So I always say start in the beginning by being fully transparent, start in the end and start in the middle, and do it all in between, basically, so that you can make sure that you cover your bases and that everybody knows what's what. So some of the tips that I recommend in order to avoid having any issues with paper flipping is to, one, hire a real estate attorney. And that real estate attorney will know all of the local real estate laws in your area. You want to also make sure that in your disclosures, in your contracts, you want to have it written in your agreement to sell, in your purchase agreement, and in your agreement to assign. So you want to make sure that you have it in all three of your contracts. Another thing is to stay informed. You want to make sure that you always, even though you may find out that it's legal in your area, it doesn't mean that laws can't change. So you want to make sure that you are always on top of whatever the local laws are. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments. Visit my website at www.housefliptoolkit.com, where you can find out more information about wholesaling, house flipping, rental properties, real estate in general. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe as well. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.